Hi, we're the Art Apes, and we're here on a mission to help you take your art further, faster, by giving you the information and understanding of advanced art theory and how to apply it to your art today. Okay, in this episode, we're going to be talking about variety in line and contrast it with some perfectly unified line. We're also going to give you a shape which contains the most variety and still a great deal of unity. We've got some more information about how to help contrast and enhance some shapes in your drawing or painting. Plus, lastly, we'll have one of our famous bonus tips for you if you stick with us through the end of the video.
Love those bonus tips.
Let's swing into it. Okay, this is about rhythm and the variety of line. Line rhythm depends on the shape of the lines, the relationship of the lines to each other, and the line's relationship to the edges of the panel. That last one is often forgotten about. With all good artwork, this music of line is in harmony with the artistic intention and the subject of the picture or drawing. So let's start with two lines with the least variation. There's the straight line and the circle. The perfectly straight line is obvious since it has no variety at all. There are no curves and no bulges and no changes. The circle might be less obvious than the straight line. The circle curves at the exact same rate all along its path. There is no variation in its curves. Of all of the curved forms, the circle has the least variation. These lines are rarely used in pictures, except to enhance the beauty and the variety of others. Even if you use straight lines or circles in your work, introducing some subtle variations, some play, can help lessen the ho-hum character of this type of line. Horizontal and vertical lines can be crazy useful in rectangular pictures. Their power lies in uniting the composition with the edges of the picture by echoing those boundary edges due to their parallel relationship with the frame. Now lean into this. This is something for you to write in your important book of important things. The other use for straight lines is, as I alluded to earlier, to contrast and enhance the elegance and beauty of curves. This is a truly powerful tool. To enhance a curve, we often place a straight line nearby. The straight gives more grace to the curve. Take a look at many painted or photographed portraits, and often there will be an edge of a wall, the frame of a painting in the background, or the edge of a collar or column. These straight lines accentuate the curved forms of the face or the figure. The curve is contrasted with straightness. This is an option for landscape painters as well. We'll get into this type of design ideas into greater depth at a later episode, though. Now, back to the circle. The perfect circle should always be avoided in the drawing of natural objects, even a full moon. Look for opportunities to introduce some sort of variety. Even though the perfect curve of the circle lacks variety, it has a certain beauty because of its perfect unity. Without change, there is a static unity. Without energy, it goes on forever without the slightest variation. Now, if you want to learn about unity and variety, you can take a look at this episode somewhere.
Oh, there went.
There it goes. Look up there or down in the description below. But let's get back to this. Now, when we turn a circle on its edge and we see it in perspective, it becomes an ellipse. The circle has gained variety by evolving into the ellipse, and it has some of the beautiful variety which exists in the curves. This beauty is only lessened because all four corners are mirrored on the opposite side, so some of the potential variety has been lost. Contrasting the perfection of the disc of the circle We want to add the maximum amount of variety while still maintaining the unity within the shape. The circle has the circle has the maximum unity. The ellipse has more variety, though it still maintains a great deal of unity within the shape. Then the next shape to look at is the egg shape. Let's explore this shape a bit more. There's a beautiful symmetry to the curve of an egg. There's a perfect balance between variety and unity. The curvature of the egg shape, or for the more mathematically minded amongst you all, the ovoid, that egg shape varies constantly, and at no point is its curving this at the same ratio as at any other point. This ovoid shape is often searched for when drawing a symmetrical shape, since it has more variety than the ellipse and it approaches the circle in the flow of the line of the curvature. The Greeks used this shape as an ornament in many structures because I believed it contained so much variety. Now, contrast this with the Roman use in these same decorative motifs where the unity of the circle is used rather than the variety used by the Greeks. Roughly, the line of the face contour follows this ovoid or egg shape, and those painters who were searching for a way of depicting grace have often adjusted the actual outline and insisted on the ovoid shape in their portraits, such as Gainsborough and Van Dyck. A profile is often very beautiful, but often variety can overwhelm this unity or the run of the line. Think about it for a moment. Do you really need every bump and divot, every little detail to describe what or who you're looking at and still make it recognizable? The most beautiful profiles are usually where the variety has been subordinated to the unity of the contour. Maybe that's why the Greeks did away with the hollow above the nose, making the forehead line run with little interruption to the tip of the nose. The unity of the line was increased and the variety made more interesting because when you contrasted the straight with any resulting curves, it was more powerful. In a drawing or painting of a profile, this run or unity of line is the thing to feel if you want to express its particular beauty. If you are painting, one good method would be to draw it with a brush from the background side after painting all the variety of tone on the face side of the line. Usually the background varies little and the swing of the brush isn't as restricted and the movement on this side as it is on the other. Some artists are afraid to paint over the edges of the face because they're afraid they will lose the drawing by going over the edge. With the blurry edge, it's easy to come back with a brush full of the color of the background against the face and drop it in with confidence and decision. If care's taken to note all the variations on the edge where the sharpness becomes more pronounced and where the edge is more lost, the run of the line can be easily regained and expressed in the way the artist wants to interpret the subject. Now, there are some pitfalls here. In drawing, there's often things that you can be on the lookout for. In living things, there's a type of line symmetry, what you could call variety in symmetry. Take the arm, for example. While it's basically symmetrical, where's that picture? Take the arms, for example. While it's basically symmetrical, each side not only has variety within it, but there's also a variety on the opposite side of the arm. One side will have a concave and the other will have a convex. Look out for those qualities when drawing limbs. Often there is a rhythm of the line to be discovered. So in this episode, we've talked about two things which have a simple unity to them, the straight line and the circle. Since they do not change in shape throughout their length, there is no variety. We've also discussed a symmetrical shape which has the most variety and still has unity, the egg or ovoid shape. It's historically been used to describe a shape as graceful. We've given some tactics to discover a more unified profile and dealt with some natural shapes which are contained in the arms and where to discover variety in symmetry. So, guess what time it is?
Is it really time for the
Bonus tip! I wonder if you're familiar with something called a sagittal line. It's the line which divides a thing into a left half and a right half.
So it's not a constellation? Oh, that'd be the Sagittarius.
Close, yes. Almost the same. We all know that if you draw the sagittal line, the left side is almost an exact mirror of the right side. So how can we introduce some variety into something that's so symmetrical? The slightest action produces the variety we're looking for. Too often, and way too often, figures are drawn as if the figures are soldiers. There's a line of balance everything must maintain to keep from falling, but as we or anything else moves, there are variations to give the play of life in your drawing. So if you're struggling with drawing a figure or anything else and it looks as if it's dead and you just can't resolve the issues, this may help you figure out how to look for the weakness in your work.
Hey, if you found today's episode had some valuable information, hit subscribe, ring the bell, or leave a comment below. We'd be happy to hear from you. See you next episode. Bye.
Bye.